Good morning. Pastor Michelle here with your morning devotion. Today we continue to read Jeremiah and we will start in chapter 35. Jeremiah received the Lord's word during the rule of Judah's king Jehoiakim, Josiah's son. Go to the Rechabite. I'm going to start over. Rechabite. Okay. Rechabite. Good morning. Pastor Michelle here with your morning devotion. Today we continue to read Jeremiah and we will start this morning in chapter 35. Jeremiah received the Lord's word during the rule of Judah's king Jehoiakim, Josiah's son. Go to Rechabite family and invite them to come to one of the rooms of the Lord's temple. When they arrive, offer them some wine to drink. So I took Josiah, Jeremiah's son, and Habakkuk's grandson, and his brothers, and all of his sons, and the whole Rechabite family. I brought them to the room in the Lord's temple assigned to the sons of Hanan, Igabadal's son, and the man of God. The room was next to the one used by the chief officers and right above the room of Messiah's Shallum's son, the temple doorkeeper. When I set bowls full of wine before the Rechabites, along with several cups, I said to them, "Have some," but they refused. "We don't drink wine because our ancestor Jonadab's, Rechab's son, commanded us. You and your children are never to drink wine, nor are you to build or own houses or plant gardens or vineyards. Rather, you are always to dwell in tents, so you may live a long time in the fertile land you pass through. We have obeyed everything our ancestor Jonadab's, Rechab's son, commanded us. No one in our household, including our wives and children, have ever had wine. And we haven't built houses or live in, or had vineyards or fields or crops. We have lived in tents and done everything our ancestor Jonadab commanded us. And when Babylon's king Nebuchadnezzar invaded the country, we said, we better go to Jerusalem to escape the Babylonian and Aramean armies. That's why we're here in Jerusalem." Then the Lord's word came to Jeremiah. "The Lord of heavenly forces, the God of Israel, proclaims, go and tell the people of Judah that those who live in Jerusalem can't you learn a lesson about what it means to obey me, declares the Lord? Jonadab's, Rechab's son, commanded his descendants not to drink wine, and to this very day they have not drunk wine, obeying their ancestors' instructions. But I have spoken to you again and again, and you haven't listened to me. I have sent you all my servants, the prophets, time and again, saying, each of you, turn from your evil ways and reform your actions. Don't worship or serve our gods. Then you may live in the fertile land I gave you and your ancestors. But you haven't paid attention or listened to me. The descendants of Jonadab, Rechab's son, have thoroughly obeyed their ancestor, but this people have not listened to me. Therefore, this is what the Lord of heavenly forces, the God of Israel, says. I'm going to bring upon the people of Judah and all those who live in Jerusalem the disaster I pronounced against them, because they wouldn't listen to me or respond when I called." Then Jeremiah said to the Rechabite family, "The Lord of heavenly forces, the God of Israel, proclaims, because you have obeyed all Jonadab's instructions, and you have done everything he commanded you, the Lord of heavenly forces, the God of Israel, proclaims, Jonadab, Rechab's son, will always have a descendant that stands before me." In the 4th year of Judah's king Jehoiakim, Josiah's son, this word came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Take a scroll and write it all the words I have spoken to you concerning Israel, Judah, and all the nations from the time of Josiah until today. Perhaps when the people of Judah hear about every disaster I intend to bring upon them, they will turn from their evil ways, and I will forgive their wrongdoings and sins. So Jeremiah sent to Baruch, Neriah's son, as Jeremiah dictated all the words that the Lord had spoken to him. Baruch wrote them in the scroll. Then Jeremiah told Baruch, I'm confined here and can't go to the Lord's temple. So you go to the temple on the next day of fasting and read the Lord's word from the scroll that I have dictated to you. Read them so that all the people in the temple can hear them, as well as all of the Judeans who have come from their towns. If they turn from their evil ways, perhaps the Lord will hear their prayers. The Lord has threatened them with fierce anger. Baruch, Neriah's son, did everything the prophet Jeremiah instructed him. He read all the Lord's words from the scroll in the temple. In the 9th month of the 5th year of Judah's king Jehoiakim, Josiah's son, all the people in Jerusalem and all those who had come from Judean towns observed a fast for the Lord in Jerusalem. Then Baruch read Jeremiah's words from the scroll to all the people in the Lord's temple. He read them in the chamber of Gemariah, Shaphan, the scribe's son, in the upper courtyard near the entrance of the new gate to the Lord's temple. When Micah, Gemariah's son, and Shaphan's grandson heard all the Lord's words from the scroll, he went down to the scribe's chamber in the royal place. There he found all the officials meeting together. Elishama the scribe, Delilah, Shemaiah's son, Elnathan, Achabar's son, Gemariah, Shaphan's son, Zedekiah, Hananan's son, and all the other officials. Micah told them all the words he had heard Baruch read from the scroll before the people. Then all the officials sent Jehudi, Nathaniel's son, and Shelemiah's grandson, and Cushi's great-grandson, to Baruch. Take the scroll you read to the people and come with me. So Baruch, Neriah's son, took the scribe and went to the officials. They said to him, Sit down and read it to us. So Baruch read it to them. When they heard all its words, they were alarmed and said to Baruch, You must at once report all of this to the king. Then they asked Baruch, Tell us, how did you write all these words? Did they come from Jeremiah? Baruch replied, He dictated all the words to me, and I wrote them with ink in the scroll. The officials then said to Baruch, You and Jeremiah had better go and hide, and don't let anyone know where you are. After leaving the scroll in the room of Elishama the scribe, they went to the king's court and told him everything. The king sent Jehudi to take the scroll, and he retrieved it from the room of Elishama the scribe. Then Jehudi read it to the king and all his royal officials who were standing next to the king. Now it is the 9th month, and the king was staying in the winterized part of the palace with a firepot burning near him. And whenever Jehudi read 3 or 4 columns of the scroll, the king would cut them off from the scribe's knife and throw them into the firepot until the whole scroll was burned up. Neither the king nor any of his attendants who heard all these words were alarmed or tore their clothes. Elnathan, Delilah, and Jeremiah begged the king not to burn the scroll, but he wouldn't listen to them. The king commanded Jerahmeel, the king's son, among which Shira, Ezrael's son, and Shelemiah, Abdiel's son, to arrest the scribe Baruch and the prophet Jeremiah, but the Lord hid them. The Lord's word came to Jeremiah after the king had burned the scroll containing the words written by Baruch at Jeremiah's dictation. Get another scroll, and write in it all the words that were in the first scroll that Judah's king Jehoiakim burned. Then say to Judah's king Jehoiakim, The Lord proclaims, You burned that scroll because it declared that the king of Babylon will come and destroy this land and eliminate every sign of life from it. Therefore, This is what the Lord proclaims about Judah's king, Jehoiakim. He won't have any heirs to occupy the throne of David, and his dead body will be cast out and exposed to the heat of the day and the frost of the night. I will punish him and his family and his attendants for their wrongdoing. I will bring upon them, as well as the residents of Jerusalem and the people of Judah, every disaster I pronounced against them. But they wouldn't listen. So Jeremiah took another scribe and gave it to the scribe Baruch, Neriah's son, who wrote at Jeremiah's dictation all the words in the scroll burned in the fire by Judah's king Jehoiakim. Similar words were added to them. So concludes our reading of Jeremiah this morning. We find time and time again in Jeremiah that people are given opportunities to follow the way that the Lord wants us to go, wants them to go. And time again, the people don't do that unless you're Jeremiah or Baruch or a few other people. And I pray that you hear these words and take heed, and that you hear these words and you ask God to continue to guide you, to continue to place upon your heart what He wants you to do. I pray that you ask for vision and strength, and I hope that you have a great morning, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.